Plenty to expect across the country this morning as our reporters are stationed in central areas to give you an update on the presidents of the ANC and the EFF who are kicking off their voter registration weekend drives this weekend in Soweto, where both parties lost electoral support in the 2021 local government elections. The region makes up at least 25% of the electorate in Johannesburg, but at the last poll it recorded a low voter turnout, especially amongst young people. Newzroom Afrika's Ziyanda Ngcobo is in Ward 11 at the Tekani Primary School, where EFF leader Julius Malema will start off his morning. We'll take you to Ziyanda. Very good morning to you. We know, of course, that this is a very important weekend. The first voter registration weekend beginning today, a two-day event. What can we expect as this gets underway, especially looking at how the ANC fared in Soweto during the last elections?
Well, political parties are ramping up their campaigns and their drives this weekend, especially because, if you don't capture the voters now, you'll have a very difficult time in terms of being able to gauge as well what you could be getting come the 2024 polls. Soweto is a very critical region, not only in Johannesburg, but in Gauteng as a whole. The province is up for grabs. So we're here at the Hitekane Primary School in Ward 11 here in Soweto, where Julius Malema is expected to arrive here at 8 o'clock. He'll spend his entire day here in Soweto. President Cyril Ramaphosa will also kick off the ANC's drive here in Soweto as well, in Shawelo, where he's also from, and he will also then move to Ekurhuleni and Tshwane. So the fight for Gauteng is on. But Soweto, a very interesting place, given its historical standing in terms of basically being the hot spot or the key area of black political action during the apartheid regime, but also, as you've already mentioned, that it accounts for at least 25% of the votes here in Johannesburg. And so there are several service delivery issues in an area like Soweto. The issues of power and the debts that they owe to Eskom are well recorded, but also the issue of transformers and the performance. So a party like Action SA did quite well during the 2021 polls here in Soweto. So I think a lot of the parties will be vying for this region, and especially getting young people to register to vote and really trying to tap into a new market, so to say.
Ziyanda Ngcobo giving us a sense of the latest on the ground in Soweto. Let's crisscross now to Ziniko Mhlaba, who joins us now live from the Free State. Ziniko, very good morning to you. What can be expected in the Free State?
A very good morning to you, Paul. Well, we are in the Free State, just outside the Bloemfontein City Centre under the Mangaung Metropolitan Municipality, the only metropolitan municipality in the Free State. Why is it important for us to be here in Mangaung today? I can tell you right now, when it comes to the voter registration turnout or the number of people who are registered to vote in the Free State, over 400,000 of them are found or have been registered here in the Mangaung. So in terms of the numbers, it's a very, very important city. It's a very, very important municipality. And also it's an important municipality because, as I said, it has various sectors of society, whether it's commercial businesses, whether it's universities, but also health facilities as well. So people of all ages call Bloemfontein their home, and the Mangaung Metropolitan Municipality has the responsibility of ensuring that it gives all those people of different ages services that are due to them. But you'll also understand that this is a municipality that has been having some administration and governance issues, changing mayors in the last 5 years or so, but also being put under administration at some point. But also when it comes to now making sure that it brings the numbers to the IEC, numbers of people who are eligible to vote, it has been able to deliver, and I'm referencing the last general elections of 2019. So let's find out whether young people, which government, which the IEC have been targeting in its campaign. Let's gauge whether now they are keen if they are going to vote. I'm joined now by two young people, Martin and Chris. They are saying that they will be voting for the very first time, which is a very positive feedback to get from young people. Let me bring them in. Let me start with you, Mr. Martin. Talk to us about whether you see any importance of voting as a young person, as you are saying that if you decide to vote, you'll be voting for the first time.
First of all, I'd like to say good morning to you all, and thank you, Mr. Mhlaba and your team, for having us this morning. My perspective on that of voting, this past 2-3 years can say I didn't want to vote because of me seeing each and every party or a specific party not doing a thing that I see that is good for the community. That made me not vote, but nowadays I see most of the parties are doing changes by going out to the people and helping the ones that's in need. So that's whereby it gives me to that spot of me wanting to vote this time.
All right, so the various options that are available for you now to vote is what inspires you to vote, if I get you very well, then, Mr. Martin. Mr. Chris, you're also a first-time voter. You will be registering today or tomorrow. What do you think it's important? Why do you think it is important for young people to take up this responsibility to express their frustrations through a vote?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris. Thank you, Mr. Mhlaba. The thing is, what I want to tell I want to vote. I think there's too many of this. I think there's too many great leaders out there. Actually, we don't have to give up on now easily. If we don't vote, actually, who's going to lead this world? We need a leader to lead this world. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So that's Chris and Martin, young people here in Bloemfontein, giving us a sense of why they are deciding to register to vote, saying that they are indeed voting for the very first time. So that's the latest from us here in Bloemfontein in the Free State.
Very well, Ziniko Mhlaba. Let's now crisscross to Newzroom Afrika's Siphosethu Booi, who joins us live from Gqeberha. A very good morning to you, Siphosethu. The Eastern Cape is an ANC stronghold, but I suppose it will all boil down to voter turnout. How is the scene and the atmosphere as the registration weekend gets underway?
Well, good morning to you, Mpo, and it's quite important that you make mention of the fact that the Nelson Mandela Bay municipality in its own accord is a stronghold for the African National Congress, as we've narrowed down the clusters of this metro to 4, just to focus really on how the voter registration weekend will turn out, because that should also give us an indication, and many South Africans, including the different political parties, with regards to what the 2024 elections will look like. You will remember that the Alex Matikinga cluster, which is the one that we're currently in, which covers the Motherwell area as well as the Blue Water Bay area, is one that has seen a significant rise or increase as far as numbers of registration of young people, including the elderly, is concerned, followed by the Champion Galela that covers the Zwide area, as well as, of course, the Govan Meki cluster, which is the New Brighton area. Those are areas that saw a significant increase during the 2019 voter registration weekend during that time, and the voters. So that gives you a clear indication of where some of these voters and numbers that really do cement the issue of the African National Congress being a stronghold here in Nelson Mandela Bay. We will be speaking to some of those young people to also try and understand why this weekend is quite important to them as well. Just speaking to the ward councillors in and around this area, just to try and find out and get a sense of how the reaction has been and the welcoming or reception of young voters, including the elderly, in this particular cluster, which is the Alex Matikinga cluster. And they're saying that there has been a huge appetite from young people, including the elderly, to come out in their numbers to check if whether or not they registered, and many of them also raising the issue of online registration, saying that some of them may not be able to come forward to go to physical VDs to go do their registrations. However, they will be coming back from work and just to go and check if whether or not those online registrations do appear. And many of them raising the issue of many young people as well as the elderly, saying that they've moved locations. And you will remember, Paul, as well, that this particular area of Motherwell consists of informal settlements. So one would presume that some of these people that moved to this area of Motherwell come from different areas of the metro, meaning that now the location and addresses will have to change. So people need to come forward to rectify those registration voter points where they'll be voting similar or closer to where they are currently. And we will also be moving to other, clusters like the Lillian Didrik cluster, which is the northern area side. And these different clusters face different challenges, but they have one thing in common: young people who are unemployed, in specific here in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro. So throughout the day, we will be engaging with those young people just to get a sense of why they feel they should come out in their numbers to vote come the 2024 elections, and also just to gauge and see the confidence as far as the political parties who will be garnering those votes going out in those campaigns, to speak to some of the residents in the different clusters throughout the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro.
Very well, Siphosethu Booi. Let's now move to Cape Town, where we find Nasiphi Same. A very good morning to you. The IEC in the Western Cape committing to opening all its over 1,500 voting stations across that province. What's happening on the ground?
Well, Mpho, not too long ago, the Independent Electoral Commission officials were basically hustling through, putting up banners and ensuring that those passing by are able to see that Salt River Hall, where we're currently standing, is one of the registration centers. And basically putting up the banners and the signs is basically to also welcome those eligible voters that will be making their way through the various stations, over 1,000 of them in the Western Cape. And basically this is not only an opportunity for eligible voters to walk through these various centers and have, or rather to update their various personal details, but also to basically register to vote. And as the clock ticks towards 8 o'clock, the voting stations will officially open their doors for voter registration weekend at 8 o'clock to welcome to welcome residents, including various citizens throughout the province, in anticipation for the voter registration weekend. And as you put it, Mpho, earlier on, that we are indeed looking at 2024, which is on the horizon for the local government, or rather for the elections coming up next year. There has been a number of political parties, including the IEC, actively encouraging the youth, who obviously are one of the largest and most influential voting cohort, to register to vote and use this particular weekend ahead of the 2024 elections. However, having called a number of young people and spoken to them leading up to this particular day, many of them are not quite interested in registering to vote or even exercising that democratic right to vote, highlighting that they do feel that they are currently underrepresented. However, we will be crisscrossing the metro, speaking to various citizens and residents at the IEC centers or stations, including the communities, as to basically how they feel about not only about this particular weekend, which is voter registration, but also the upcoming elections, and what they are hoping the new lawmakers will be, or rather looking at, or rather what they will also be speaking to them, my apologies, about what they anticipate the various political parties that are vying for their vote will be putting on the table in resolving some of the issues that they're currently facing. And having spoken to some communities, what seems to be on the agenda in the city of Cape Town is social, or rather service delivery, which is a number of townships or informal settlements, highlighting that they are looking at the various political parties that will be campaigning and vying for their votes to be highlighting the issues that plague those various communities, which are many of them service delivery related.
Nasiphi, as you speak to some of the problems and the challenges faced by young people and the reasons why they're not looking forward to this drive and initiative, what stands out for you in terms of the big concerns that the young people are citing as reasons not to be a part of the voter registration weekend?
Mpo, outside of feeling underrepresented, speaking to them, many highlight the fact that, there has been a lack of opportunities for young people, as much as, the youth are one of the most influential or the majority voting cohort. They believe that perhaps, if they stay away from voting, it will be some sort of a protest or highlighting their voices about the dissatisfaction in regards to what is currently happening in the country, but also highlighting that they believe, or some of them rather, believe that their voice actually can, or rather their voice through their vote will not make a difference.
Very well, Nasiphi Same, we leave it there for now as we continue, of course, throughout the course of the day to give you rolling coverage as we cover the central key areas. Our reporters stationed there as voter registration weekend gets underway.